the future. There's no room for a dream. We are porcine feature. Pigskin, no creep. Carve up in my skin. If the worst will be.
Welcome back to episode 2 of Vanished, where we continue our investigation into looking for the whereabouts of missing journalist and writer Simon Groves from Bristol. We continue with the recordings that were discovered recently, and we will move straight into the first recording, which was when Simon was interviewing a local woman talking about her son.
Everyone that has a child always wonders what they're going to be when they're older. I found out what my son was going to be when he was only 3. He was going to be a crow. Since that age, he demanded everyone called him a crow and he dressed like one. We always thought he would grow out of it. 24 years later and he still does it. Dresses in a black top, leather leggings and a black crow mask and black wings. We would always have issues with him being up in trees, trying to fly and of course shitting on the neighbours' cars, which did cause a lot of tension with everyone in the cul-de-sac. He would steal eggs and hide them in this giant nest in his room made out of twigs that he would sleep in. We always had people from the RSPCA down and as he was endangering birds in the UK by sitting on them and smashing them. But as a mother, you'd do anything for your child's happiness. So that's when I agreed and started to eat worms and regurgitate the mushworms down his throat like a mother bird would. I learned to embrace it. In fact, I suggested he joined a group called furries. They dress up as large animals and have meetings. Unfortunately, he got there and was mauled by a giant man dressed as a cat. The funeral was a difficult day, but we did it the way my son would have loved. We put him in a large shoebox and buried him at the bottom of the garden. Come on, I'll show you where the box is. Hopefully the local foxes haven't tried to dig him up again.
We were able to find the residence of this woman, but unfortunately when we got there we came to discover that she had recently moved. We spoke to a neighbour who said they remember Mr. Groves coming up to interview her, but also seeing him running away from the cul-de-sac, retching after seeing the dead son. This next recording is of Mr. Groves interviewing a local shopkeeper, discussing his injuries that occurred after an incident in his shop.
There was news and TV reporters everywhere since my shop got broken into. The thief shot me in the head. Luckily though, the bullet only damaged bits of my brain that I don't need, which is what my mum said, so that's alright. The doctors tried to tell me what would happen, but every time they spoke I would just go, cunt, 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 I eat your cunt with rice and peas. Yeah, my neighbour said I've been shouting since, but I haven't noticed. Have you? Oh, lick my clit, you scummy prick. Sorry. So I was saying it makes me a bit different. What's that? Felch? Felch? Oh, felch my arse. Oh, Ainsley Harriet. I like Mrs. Brown's boys. As I said, you know, it makes me weird, but not a dead brain weirdo. Why'd you look so shocked?
We went to the shop to speak to the shopkeeper about this interview, but when we turned up he was on the roof naked, screaming about the QE2, so we couldn't get much information from him. To continue our investigation, we've had to reach out to local businesses to fund us and to help us continue with our work. Fortunately, a local business from Bristol has agreed to give us the money that we need to continue under the circumstances that we advertised their company on this video. So here they are.
Are you recently bereaved? Planning a funeral? Why not ease the grieving process with Bristol Funeral Clowns? All our clowns can cater to a wide number of religious denominations and provide meaningful service, eulogy, or maybe you just want us to entertain your kids at the wake. Alright mate, do you want me to bring the silly little car? Alright, I'll see you on the day. God be with you. All our clowns are fully CRB checked, so there'll be no John Wayne Gacy bullshit from us, alright? Bristol Funeral Clowns, putting the fun in funeral. We are sorry for your loss.
That was a message from our main sponsors, Bristol Clown Funeral. Their offices can be located next door to Shadow's 24-hour massage parlour, next to the Hippodrome. This next recording was Mr. Groves interviewing 2 brothers who own a farm on the outskirts of Bristol.
Alright, I'm Seamus, and that be Jean-Michel. Oh, that's right, Jean-Michel. We be lovers. Brothers. Oh, yeah, that's right, brothers. And we do everything together. We eat together. We watch films together. We pick flowers for our mum's grave together. Eat potato waffles together. Bathe together. Aye. Oh, no, wait, we don't do that. There's no room. Yeah, no room. Not since Dad put his concrete slabs in the bath. Oh, aye, he's done that to keep the bath from falling over. Yeah, you lot should come round. You can see everything then. Our concrete bath, our plastic mugs, our croc shoes, our twirly straws. Oh, no, not the fun time straws. They're just for us and our Uncle Clifford. Oh, we'll show you where we keep Mum since she decided to do her forever sleep. Yeah, well, you come on. You should come around with us, come on. Ooh.
We went to the farm to speak to the two brothers, who were both not willing to give any information about the interview or give any information what happened afterwards, but they did also show us that Simon left the farm with no problems. The final recording will be of Simon speaking to a priest who was telling us some of the unusual things that come part of his job.
Yes, now you'll have to forgive me. I haven't really spoken about the rituals I was assigned to do by the bishop for many years. Now, when you get reports of possessions, 99 times out of 100 there is an explanation. I had one girl claim she had a presence of a demon deep in her belly, and it was causing her all manner of pain and discomfort. It turns out it was just trapped wind. Of course, after a couple of spoonsful of wind away and some mild tummy pressing, she was fine, although the stench that came out of her was an unholy, beastly stink. My first investigation into possession was in the late 1970s. A family had said their son was acting and talking unusually, and he was speaking in tongues. Well, after visiting, it turned out he was just a big fan of that musical with John Travolta, Grease, and he was singing that song, that We Go Together song. You know, it's got the lyrics that go, Rama Lama Lama Kadinga da Dinga Dong. Well, I told them that, and unfortunately they still set fire to him in his sleep a few days later. He wasn't that bad at singing, for all accounts. Like I said, 99 times out of 100, there's a perfectly reasonable explanation to these occurrences. But there was that one time where I was convinced this chap was actually possessed and needed an exorcism. I was called to this house, and a woman showed me to her husband, and the stench there, it was putrid, and the sights were just ghastly, and there was vomit and feces and other bodily fluids strewn about the room. The language being uttered by this man was just foul. It was like being in the room with a Scouse hen party. He was growling and lashing out and saying things like, "He is here," repeatedly. We began to throw lashings of holy water on him, and I was making his skin turn all manner of colours, and he'd recoil in pain. Of course, I actually picked up the wrong bottle, and it turned out I was throwing bleach at him by accident. Oh, how red was my face. Oh, it shows there can be a funny side to the job, I suppose. Now, once me and the other priest had stopped laughing, we began to say the Lord's Prayer. And at that point, the gentleman curled up in the corner, and then suddenly burst back up, and his appearance had completely changed. He no longer looked the same man I saw when I walked in. He looked horrible. Picture Shirley from EastEnders, but with horns. Moments after the transformation, he ran at me, and he pushed me up against the wall. He just drew every ounce of breath out of me, and naturally I passed out. And when I came to, the monster was gone, and the man, by all accounts, seemed cured. That was my last ritual, my last exorcism. I don't quite know why I stopped. I just never had the inclination to do it again. Yes, sir. He has always been here, doing my work. Now, would anybody care for a cup of tea? He has no sugar.
That now brings us to the end of this episode. Join us next week where we'll be discovering more of these recordings and see if we can get any closer to finding the whereabouts of Simon Grove.